If you had been walking along here on the 23rd of June 1314, you would have been met by thousands of English knights coming towards you this way. After the knights had been repelled, after Gloucester's division had been turned back with the early fighting at Milton Ford ahead, they would have come this way as they were making their way down to the Carse of Balquhiderock, which was the chosen area for the English camp. This is a phenomenal place. Just over the other side of the trees there, the embankments are so high and steep, and with the treacherous Bannockburn lying below there. It wasn't a hot summer back in 1314. It was an extremely wet one, and the Bannockburn was raging, as was the Pell stream further up on the other side of Stirling. But this area here, you would have encountered the knights, the wagon trains, knights numbering, the English army numbering somewhere in the region of between 22 and 25,000, coming up here to once and for all put down the Scots rebels and Robert the Bruce and his army. Robert the Bruce had a vast army at the time. It wasn't 5,000 or 6,500 as we're led to believe. It was much, much, much more than that. In fact, the English described them as being heavy in number. And on day 2 of the battle, they approached the English as a thick-set hedge of spears, of pikes that were impenetrable. But this is a fabulous area here. This is the high ground that comes to the south of the Bannockburn here. And if you were to follow it over for about a mile, you will come to the Carse of Balquhiderock. A great place to camp for the English army. After a day of hard riding from Falkirk and heavy fighting and taking a bloody nose for their trouble. This is the route they would have taken. Bannockburn, 1314. You know, one of the saddest things when you're researching such an important event that happened a long time ago is the preservation of our heritage. This here is what was known as Bruce Fields. It was a golf course. But more than that, back in 1314, this is the high ground. After the unsuccessful attempt by the English army to engage the Scots at Milton Ford and get access to the Dryfield, they came this way. They came riding over this high ground with their objective to get to the camp down in the Carse of Balquhiderock. It's such an important piece of ground, you know. You would have had thousands of English knights coming this way. You would have had wagon trains and everything all coming this way. The English engaged the Scots just down past those trees there at Milton Ford. So on their retreat, this is the way they came. But the really sad thing is, this is now being granted permission for building. They are going to pour tons and tons of concrete into this place, and it's going to disappear forever. This is March 2022. I'm not sure when building will start, but it's another part of heritage that is going to be lost. You can imagine, you can just picture the English army suffering their first bloody nose in day one. With Gloucester's division, Gloucester himself was unhorsed in that fight. It didn't go well for him that day. But Henry de Bohun lost his life. He's up here with his relative, Humphrey de Bohun. Young knights trying to win their honours. Young knights looking for glory. More experienced knights here to quell once and for all a rebellion and to put down Robert the Bruce, King of Scots. I get a real sense of place when I walk this ground. I get a real feeling from it because I'm so passionate about it. It's really sad to see that the days are numbered in this piece of ground now. It's going to be lost forever. And if things keep going that way, we lose a slice of our history, of our identity, and of the truth of what actually happened. We're able to make sense of it. But on day one, the English have finally arrived. They have engaged the Scots in 3 separate occasions, unsuccessfully. And in their thousands, they may have numbered anywhere between 22 and 25,000, not to mention the wagon trains and all of the people that came with an army, as was common to the time. And they have made their way down to the Carse of Balquhiderock. Such a phenomenal place here. It really is. And although this place here is going to be lost, there's still a lot we can do by learning about what happened on those 2 days, and by knowing the truth and by identifying the proofs of what happened, we can save what's left. The main battlefield area is still all intact. It's still there. It's not too late.